Hello, faithful. Welcome to another edition of White Throne Metal Radio's Top 10. I am your host, Keven Crothers, station manager for White Throne Metal Radio, also host for the Throne Room podcast, and staff writer for Heaven's Metal magazine, and way back when, staff writer for White Throne magazine as well. So glad you've chosen to tune in and hang out with me for another 10 or 15 minutes as I go over another top 10 songs. And today I wanted to visit classic Christian hard rock and metal band, Daniel Band. Daniel Band really, more of a hard rock band in most respects than a metal band. And with that, a lot of great songs. And we released 5 albums. Starting in 1982, last album came out in 88. Definitely, I guess you could say, back when their first record came out, people thought, oh, they sound like Rush, and that's really only because Dan McCabe, one of the 2 lead vocalists, sang in a really pretty high pitch. More to me like Rick Emmett of Triumph, if you're going to have a comparison. But Daniel Band was not a trio. They were a 4-piece. And with that, they wrote a lot of great tunes. Released, like I said, 5 records. And in my top 10, hopefully some of the songs I like and love will be some of the ones that you like and love as well. And we'll get a chance to talk about something that we all enjoy, and that is positive, uplifting music with a driving force of hard rock and heavy metal music. Excuse me. Of course, the albums, most of us know those if you're tuned in. Daniel Band, the debut was called On Rock. This is a remaster reissue from Retroactive. Had 2 bonus tracks, but this is On Rock, the debut. Followed up by Straight Ahead, also remastered and reissued by Retroactive just a few years ago. Another reissue on CD was Run from the Darkness, their 3rd album. And from what I can tell is perhaps their most popular album, I think. My favorite Daniel Band album was called Rise Up. Came out in 1986, a great record. And then their last album was called Running Out of Time. This is a remaster reissue. This was my original, and you'll notice the little punch out here. This was from when I worked at a particular Bible bookstore. They had, back then, you could listen to demos because you didn't hear this stuff on the radio. So if you wanted to hear what a record sounded like, you took the demo, went over to the player. Back then it was mostly vinyl. Go through all the vinyl, and you could listen to it. And when I used to work at the Bible bookstore in Hayward, Dearborn's Bible bookstore, I used to have I used to hear stuff all the time. And sometimes I could order an extra demo or have our music department order an extra demo. Thank you, Sean. So that way I could pay for it. It would be cheaper, bottom line, but I could still get the music again. And I did have a chance to see Daniel Band one time in 1986 in Sacramento, California, about an hour and a half from where I lived at the time, in the San Francisco Bay Area, and they were great. By their own admission, perhaps not the most exciting band to watch play, but I just loved watching musicians play, and when they're playing great music, that's all I needed. It's all I still need, really, but it was a fantastic experience. I got a chance to interview them as well for White Throne back then. All right, well, let's talk about those top 10 songs. And again, my top 10 may not be your top 10. This isn't supposed to be a best of or definitive list, but my top 10 starts off with the title track off the 2nd album, Straight Ahead. Now, Straight Ahead was a little more polished. Was a little better produced than the debut on Rock. Straight Ahead also had some other elements they added into it, but on this track, Straight Ahead, literally Straight Ahead, a barnstorming riff, And actually on this song, because Dan McCabe, the bass player, he sang, but Tony Rossi, the lead guitar player, also sang. And you would get both on this song. They would be singing. One did the verse, one did the chorus. It's a solid track, great melody, really good solo as well. Coming in at number 2, the title track off of their 4th record, Rise Up. Very anthemic, a great melodic guitar solo. There's a solid guitar melody line that works its way through the song. Again, an upbeat song. Daniel Band weren't heavy, okay? They were hard. There were a few tracks you could say that were kind of heavy, but most people now would probably pan most of their stuff. But you got to remember, this is the early 80s, and this is a band that had more of its roots in the 70s, that was continually trying to modernize their sound. Lyrically, very uplifting. Rise Up. I mean, what more uplift do you need than that? A great song, comes in at number 9. Off of number 8 on my list also comes from the Straight Ahead LP, Reality. Reality is a deeper track on that album. It's heavy, it's fast, relatively speaking. Don't expect speed metal or anything like that, but it's got a cool riff and it's got a great structure, very staccato like in the way the drums intersect with the guitar. It's a great song with a great message. To me, every time I'd go back and listen to that song, it always struck me as being a heavier tune. Number 7. A lot of title tracks on here. Number 7 from their 3rd record is Run from the Darkness. A hymn, as you were, starts off with that brilliant keyboard intro from, you'll have to forgive me, his name just eluded my mind, from Mr. Bill Findley, who handled the rhythm guitars and keyboards and synthesizers. A great melodic keyboard intro that kicked into the rest of the song. A much more upbeat song. Powerful message. A nice melodic guitar solo from Tony Rossi. And one of those songs that you'll be singing. Gonna run from the darkness that I once knew. Oh yeah, right? Just a great song. Very almost worshipful in its message and in the way it's presented, but it's a hard rockin' tune, don't get me wrong. Title track there, coming in at number 7, Run from the Darkness. At number 6, off of Straight Ahead, the opening track, Power of Love. Hard-hitting, fast, great guitar solo, a great vocal performance by Dan McCabe, and the first record with new drummer Matt Del Duca on drums. When he came into the band, from what I remember, Tony Rossi, when I interviewed Tony Rossi and Dan McCabe together, they told me that Matt used to bring in like all of this jazz type stuff and try to make it more adventuresome, and he said we had to bring him down to rock and break him of all those jazz fusion habits and things like that. And he's a great solid drummer, excellent player, but a great song. Power of Love comes in at number 6. Coming in at number 5 off the debut on Rock. And some of you will probably be surprised that it's at number 5, but it's the song that really, I first heard it and I thought I had died and almost gone to heaven, because here was my Christian version of Rush, and I'm talking about I'm Sorry. A great, brilliant, beautiful acoustic intro, vocals from Dan McCabe, a great breakdown and time change in the middle right before the guitar solo, and very melodic, very memorable, and a solid song which would have benefited from probably a little bit better production. And obviously That debut came out in '82 on Lamb and Lion, distributed by Refuge Records back in the day. There wasn't much budget. There really wasn't. And if I'm not mistaken, let me see here. I'm wondering if that was... I want to say, I think that was recorded at Japuza, Jesus People USA. I know that they did, the notes and things, they did some, engineered, recorded at recorded in Toronto at Sound Design Studios. Some production assistance, though, from Roger Heiss and Glenn Kaiser from Jesus People and Res Band, respectively. But I'm Sorry for Me comes in at number 5. Number 4. Now, I guess it all depends here on how you take this. Number 4, there are 2 versions of this song, and those of you, I probably just tipped my hand right there, and it's the song Walk on the Water. Walk on the Water came out on the Run from the Darkness album of 1984. They shot a music video for this song that they had remixed the song a bit, as I understand it, for the music video. So the version that you hear on Run from the Darkness is not the same as you would hear on the music video itself. Well, in 1986, when Rise Up came out, I'm doing my job at Dearborn's Bible Bookstore. I'm checking the stock in. I'm downstairs in the stock area, and I'm listening to the demo that we had, the cassette for this album. Pardon me. And I'm listening to it all the way through, and then I get through the 9th song on the album, and the 9th song on Rise Up, I'm sorry, I kind of forgot the title there, was Right Heart. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. And the tape keeps running, and all of a sudden, this song starts playing. And I'm going, wait a minute, what is this? And I pull the cassette, I'm looking at the cassette, it's not on the cassette, not at all. All of a sudden, it's Walk on the Water. It's a totally different sounding version. It's remixed. It's got bigger sounding drums. It sounds heavier, harder edged than what I had on Run from the Darkness. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? Come to find out, there was a mistake at the production facility, and when they sent the master reels to have the material done, somehow that song was on those master reels and that version. So initially, when it came out, it wasn't on the vinyl, it was only on the cassette, if memory serves me correctly, because I have the vinyl behind me. So you had to get it on cassette. So it's amazing that Matt Hunt, when he did his reissue, was able to get a copy of that. It's a great, to me it was always, wow, a hidden track, before hidden tracks were a thing. So coming in there at number 4 is Walk on the Water. And by the way, about the song, it's got a great hook. The story of Peter, very melodic, very memorable, very memorable. Coming in at number 3, one of their heavier songs, definitely one of their faster tunes off off of Rise Up, opening track, Bethel. It cranks, it's upbeat. Dan McCabe kind of pulls up his inner heavy metal voice, it sounds like, and drives. That song itself, it just cranks. You put it on, McCabe kicks in with a scream as the song goes, and it's just like, wow. They're here. Daniel Band is here. They're ready to rock it and rock you. A great song. Bethel comes in at number 3. Off the same record, coming in at number 2, Call His Name. Perhaps one of my all-time favorite Daniel Band songs. It's got a great hook. It's got a great riff to open the song. On the cassette, it was the first song on side 2, or the vinyl for that matter. And with that, it's got a good solo. Very, very memorable in my book. Just a great track, heavy and hard-hitting. Brings me to my number 1 song. And some of you are probably going, well, what could it be? What could it be? And I had to think about this for a few minutes because, there are several of these songs that could have been my number one. And frankly, a week from now, you could ask me, and I may change this list. But my number one Daniel Band song, and I think this is probably where this song will stay, off the debut record, Never Again. Never Again. On the vinyl, it's the first song on side 2. Never Again. It's upbeat, it's fast. It's got several instrumental type bridges, couple of time changes, tempo spots as well. A great lyric. It's not a straight ahead it's an in your face tune, but there's not like a direct hook or a chorus per se. I mean, it's there, but I played that song so much because of the tempo and because it was very proggy, essentially. And, in under 5 minutes, quite a feat. And that's a track I would love to see reworked, re-recorded. Probably will never be able to happen, but it sure would be neat to hear. But if you haven't heard that song in a long time, it may not resonate with you, but it still resonates with me. Coming in at number 1, the song called Never Again from On Rock. How about some honorable mentions? I know the video is going a little long, so if you just bear with me. Honorable mentions. How about Lustful Illusions off of Straight Ahead? And I didn't even get the chance to mention anything. And I was picking through songs, and it was just really hard. I didn't pick anything from their final record, Running Out of Time. But there are 3 standout tracks in my mind on that album. The opening track, Black or White, the title track, Running Out of Time, as well as Long Time. Long Time is one of these slow builds. It's a great song. It's got a solid hook. That record is steeped in 80s type production. It would really benefit, I think, from... Let's take the drum triggers out and get some natural sounding drums, perhaps. But some of the songs on there cannot be denied. Long Time, Running Out of Time, Black or White, Paradise from Rise Up, from Run from the Darkness, the opener, Don't Give Up, or the closer, It's Over. The song It's Over, such a good song. Piano, it's almost it's a hard rock tune, not a heavy metal song, not even close, with a nice melodic guitar solo, a great song all the way around. How about other tracks from the debuts? The album opener on that one, He's the Creator, or Free from Sin. Free from Sin for me has always been a great song. I've always enjoyed that tune. So my top 10 Daniel Band songs. Number 1, Never Again. Number 2, Call His Name. Number 3, Bethel. Number 4, Walk on the Water, the remix version. Number 5, I'm Sorry. Number 6, Power of Love. Number 7, Run from the Darkness. Number 8, Reality. Number 9, Rise Up. And number 10, Straight Ahead. There you have it. White Throne Metal Radio's top 10 Daniel Band songs. What are your top 10? Why don't you leave that in the comments below. If you like the video, subscribe, share it with your friends. Don't forget, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, White Throne Metal Radio. You'll find that in the links below, along with a link to the Throne Room podcast and a link to Heaven's Metal Magazine. Plus, I'm going to try to continue to include links to the songs that I've listed in the video. Thanks for tuning in. God bless, and have a great day.